Alright, so we know that to the left is the second greatest number. To the right, we're incrementing all the way from 1, 2, 3, 4. So knowing this, we can just fill in the rest of the numbers. So for var I is equal to last number index. So what we're trying to do here, let's see, is fill left elements in result array. Then we're going to fill right elements in result array. We're going to fill the left elements from second greatest number down until index 0. And then we're going to fill the right elements in an array from 1 to the last element, the last index. There we go. Okay. Well, this seems pretty straightforward. So we can go and we have to take in those last number index, and if the index, if the last number index is greater than 0, then we have to go and fill in everything to the left. So what we do here is do for loop for I. We're initializing I to be, it should be the very first index to the last number index. So last number index minus 1. And we should continue doing this as long as I is greater or equal to 0. Till then, we go on minus minus. Okay, so we take the last number index. Actually, it should be better. Another way to do this is to iterate, set the value to 1 until, I'm not sure. I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to do. How to do it though. That's where I'm finding some difficulty, because I'm thinking we could go and fill in the last number, but we have to also keep track of what the second number is. If we instead instantiated I to be, set I to be, for instance, 1, we could do the last number index minus 1, as well as the greatest number, which is 5, minus 1. I think that makes more sense, but we need to have a condition to stop. We need to know when to stop. And I think we should stop when last number index minus I is greater or equal to 0. We should continue ending. So last number index minus I is greater than equal to 0. Till then, we are going to be incrementing. Okay, I think that works. So what do? We are taking our insert index and we're computing that to be the last number index minus I. We're also taking the insert value and we're taking n minus I. So in the very first case, I is equal to 1. Last number, n is going to be equal to 5. 5 minus 1 is 4, which is the second greatest number. The last number index, in this case, is going to be 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. And then we just need to set that value. Okay. So we can do the same thing what we did up here. We did result.splice, and insert index, delete 1, and plug in insert value. And that should continue on until we hit there's no more null values in the left side of the array. At least the left side of the greatest element. After which, we need to start filling up everything to the right. In the same way we wrapped everything in the condition up here, we should do last number index is less than n. So n is going to be 5, and last number index should always be less than 5, because for 5 elements you have indexes all the way up to 0 to 4. Okay, so 4 has to be less than 5 if that's the last element, but what if it's 5? In that case, you're exceeding the number of elements that the array should have, so that's not, I think this condition works out. Cool. So we're going to do something very similar up here, where we have a for loop, and we're just filling in everything to the right of the greatest number. So before we write that, we need to think about what we're initializing our values to. So I, we can think of, create another variable I in the for loop. I can be what? I should be last index number plus 1. In this case, 1. The index is 1. We need to plus 1. I think we can just copy what we have up here. Plus number, but we need to just change up the condition where it stops. Plus 1 is less than 10. Okay, and I plus. Oh, so var insert index equals last number index plus 1 var insert value. This is where we just set the insert value to be 1, or I, and then we plug in, we insert the insert value into the correct index, deleting one value, and then inserting the value. So let's just walk through the solution before I run the code, and because during an interview, we're not always going to have the luxury of having a compiler run our code. So we take in an array, or we're taking two numbers, 5 and 4. We're filling up the array to be the length of the first number, the number of elements we have. So 5 nulls values inside an array. Okay, so now we have a results array with length 5 with values in each one of those elements in the array is set to null. Okay, so we get the last number index. What is the last number index? The last number index is where the first number should be placed. And the way we compute that is 2 minus n minus k, 5 minus 4 minus 1. And that's going to give us the last number index. And what we're doing here is we're inserting it. We have a JavaScript function called splice that inserts to the index that we found, deleting one, so essentially removing the value that's currently there, and inserting the value we want to put inside in its place. Then afterwards, we're checking if the last number index is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, meaning that 5 is not the very first element in this array, then we can start filling in everything to the left. And the way we do that is going through for loop. I's in it is set to 1, so 1, and the last number, as long as last number index minus I is greater or equal to 0. So we're going down the array until we reach the index 0. Until then, or in this case, the result of last number index minus I is -1. In that case, this for loop stops, and we can move on to this. But let's keep on going this condition. So we set this value, so n 5 minus 4 minus 1 is 0. And then we're going to set the value 5 null. This is our results array after this operation. So we have 4 nulls and 1 5 integer. So last integer is greater than 0. This is a failing condition, so we can move on to the next one. So last number index is less than 5. This is true. True. So we can go inside this for loop. We set Ri equal to 1. The last number index plus 1 should always be less than 5. The reason why we do this is so it does not exceed, or it does not add another element onto the array. So insert index, last number index plus 1, last number index is starting from 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. Insert index is equal to 2. Oh, actually it should equal to 1 because last number index is 0. So 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. Insert value is going to be equal to 1 for this very first iteration. And what we're inserting after this insert, we're going to be inserting number 1 into index 1. So 5, 1, everything else is null. And that's the first iteration through this for loop. Let's try to do another iteration. So let's check our condition. Or we have to increment after this for loop. So I plus plus, I is now equal to 2. Last number index plus last number, this actually should be I. Last number plus I, 0 plus 2, is less than 5. That condition still holds, so last number index plus I, let's see, where I didn't use the variable. So last number index 0 plus I, in this case 2, and then we're setting insert value I to the value of I, which is 2. And then after this iteration, we are going to be setting insert index, insert 2 into the second, into index 2. And that's the result of the array. Okay. So let's go through another iteration. So we increment I is equal to 3. So last number plus 3 is less than 5. That is true. So we can keep going on. So last number, 0. Last number index plus 3 is equal to 3. I is equal to 3, insert value is equal to 3. So result, splice, insert 1, insert, we're inserting the insert value into the index 3. The insert value is 3, and we're setting that to the value of 3. And so we keep going one more time. I plus plus, so I now equals to 4. I is equal to 4. And 0 plus 4 is less than n, so it's true. So 0, last number index, 0 plus 4 equals 4. Insert value is going to be set to I, in this case 4. And we're going to just insert the last number. Insert index. The insert index is 4, and we're setting that value to 4. And let's just make sure we increment I again. I is equal to 5. 0 plus 5 is less than n. N is 5. So this is false. And so we now are able to escape from this for loop, and the end resulting array would equal what we want, which is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. This algorithm is of n time, n being the number of elements initially created, and 5, the very first number passed into the function, is that length. So this function is going to go and iterate, or take O of n, in this case n is 5, and the space complexity. The space complexity is O of n, because O of n time. Is it O of n time? Oh, O of n space? Because we're filling up an array and having this, and we're just modifying it. But does these extra variables count towards space? I guess it would be one of those things where it's n plus a few constants. So because n is the largest number in determining the space complexity, it's also all the other constants are ignored. So let's run the code. Let's run that case passed. So I'm pretty confident that this would work, and yeah, just submit the code. This is the wrong answer. Okay, let's try again. Why is this the wrong answer? Not really sure, but what is this? Wrong answer. Viewers could purchase test case number 3. What? You have to purchase something? Hackers. Okay. Let's download. Okay, let's see your input. The input is 20 and 10. So 20 minus 10 is 10 minus 1 is 9. No, 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. Oh, I'm confused. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why is this array not sequential? Shit. Okay. I completely misunderstood the question. Okay, time to see the question. Okay. Break time for